Hey everybody, so today will be a pretty quick video. We're going to talk about parallel and perpendicular. And as some of you have probably heard these words before, you may not understand them in regards to what we've been doing, which is straight lines on a graph. And so we're going to specifically look at slope today when we talk about parallel and perpendicular. So to back up to the basics though, hopefully you remember that parallel lines, not what I wanted to do at all. Parallel lines are two lines, and remember lines can go in the same direction or in the other direction forever and ever and ever. That's why we have the arrows. But if they're parallel, that means they're going in the same exact direction and they're never going to cross each other. They're just going to always run side by side. So these little markings just mean that they're going in the same direction. They will never intersect or cross. Another way that we sometimes see it is we see AB is parallel to CD. So right here we have line AB, and in a little bit we're going to put a line next to it called CD, and this marking right here means they're parallel. What's important to note about parallel lines is because this one and our next one are going to run side by side, they're going to have something in common, and it's going to be that their slopes are exactly the same. And I'm going to prove it to you right now. So if I were to take the slope of this line and measure it, and remember you can rise and run for slope, it would go up 5/1. So I'm going to put the slope of this as 5/1, which will simplify to 5. And then I'm going to take CD, which I don't have on here, but I'm going to make it also parallel. And my phone is ringing. Okay, so we need to graph a line CD that's going to be parallel to AB. And you can put it anywhere you want. You just need to make sure that when you mark a point, so I'll mark a point here, that I rise 5 and run 1, just like I did on the other one. So rise 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and run 1. So my other point's going to be about right there. Draw your straight line connecting them. And then I'm going to, again, go ahead and just label them. C, D. And we already know, but we can check it just to make sure that we rose 5, ran 1. So again, same slope. So two lines that are parallel that run side by side have the same slope. Moving on to perpendicular. Perpendicular lines are different. Perpendicular lines cross each other. And they don't just cross each other like a normal X. Like this is a very narrow X. This is an even more narrow X. They cross each other at perfect 90-degree angles, meaning you can fit those little 90-degree boxes inside of them, which this is not a beautiful 90-degree box. Let me try that again. But you would be able to fit one of the 90-degree boxes on the inside of them. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm just going to draw my little boxes. So all the little 90-degree boxes could fit inside. You don't have to draw all of them if you don't want to. It's kind of overkill. You can just draw one. And then when we're talking about text, you'll see line AB, line CD, and if I want to mark that they're perpendicular, I draw two lines that are intersecting or crossing, just kind of like that, like an upside down T. And then slope. So if I were to have AB and then have another line CD running through it that's perpendicular, the slopes aren't going to be the same anymore. They're not going to be rising and running the same anymore. So they're what we call opposite, and it might be easier if I type this. They are opposite of each other, and they're also reciprocals of each other. We call them opposite reciprocals. And if you've ever heard those words before, they actually have a meaning. So opposite is like one is negative, the other is positive, right? Or vice versa, one is positive, the other is negative. So that's talking about if I were to change the signs. So that would be a sign change. So one's going to be running in the negative direction like AB, but the other one is going to have to run this way, and that's the positive direction. So those slopes are going to have a sign change. And then reciprocal. If you remember back to like 5th grade, you learned, or 6th grade, you learned reciprocal, and that just meant you flipped it. So you're going to flip the fraction. And if that doesn't make sense now, hopefully it'll make sense in just a second. Let me show you. So if I figure out the slope of AB, I'm going to go down, so that's down 3 over 6. So down 3 over 6. And that'll simplify, and it'll simplify to -1/2. So if I were to flip this and change the sign, that's 2 different things I have to do. So step 1, I'm going to change the sign. I'm going to make it positive. The second thing I have to do is flip it. So I'm going to flip it to 2 over 1. And again, I'm going to make it positive 2 over 1. And a positive 2 over 1 is really just 2. So I need to make a new line, and we're going to call it CD. And I need to have it have a slope of 2, or 2 over 1. So I'm going to put a line, let's say, it doesn't really matter where, let's say like right here. And I'm going to go up 2 and over 1. And when I connect those, you will see that it's going to look perpendicular. See how it makes that perfect X, or that perfect crossing where I could fit like a nice little 90-degree bar in there. So again, to quickly review, parallel lines run the same exact direction, so they're the same exact slope. Perpendicular lines that cross each other at a beautiful 90-degree angle, like I could fit the little box in here if I wanted to. There's a little box. They have the opposite, meaning the signs have changed, and the flipped version, or the reciprocal of each other. So change the sign and flip it. So real quickly, to make this video even quicker for you guys and to get you guys started on your IXL, I have some snips of IXL, and I'm going to show you how easy it is. So this says that it has a slope of this, and if it is parallel, what's the new slope going to be? It's going to be exactly the same. Parallel means it's exact same. I don't change it. Press submit. Done. The only thing you need to make sure you do is that you simplify it, so don't put an answer in there that isn't simplified. But that is simplified. Next one. One equation, and remember, we're only worried about slope. So this y-intercept, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. We're only worried about slope. So if these two slopes, this is line V, this is line W, if these two slopes are what are given to us, and they're the exact same, that means they are, again, parallel. So press parallel, press submit. Exact same. All right, so now this one is where it's going to get a little bit harder, because I don't even know what the slope is, but I do have 2 points. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. You can do that little subtraction thing, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, but I cannot stand it, so I'm going to put them in a table. So 2, 2, 7, 10, and then I'm going to find the change. So the change in my y is plus 8. Change in my x is plus 5. So my slope is 8 over 5. And it said right here, I did cover it up with this jumble, but it said right here it wanted to know what was, again, parallel. So this, I would need to make sure it's simplified, so I'd type it in my calculator, 8 over 5, press enter, and it is. So 8 over 5, press submit. All right, last one. I finally get one that says perpendicular. Finally. So perpendicular means I have to do step 1, make it negative, because this one is positive. Step 2, flip it. Now, just so you guys know, negative 69 over 80, I don't know that in my head. So I'm literally going to show you how I would check it. So negative 69 over 80. Probably help if I set it up right. Negative 69 over 80. You just want to make sure it is simplified, but I don't want a decimal. I just want it simplified. And it is simplified. Negative 69 over 80 is the answer. So negative 69 over 80, and I press submit. Easy breezy. This was even under 10 minutes, which is amazing for me. Y'all have a good day.